Hello, and welcome to my allotment again. It's the middle of September in 2021, and I thought I'd do another little video to show anybody who fancies watching what's going on with the allotment. So it's a bit of a cloudy day today, which makes doing a video a bit easier actually. We had a hot week just gone, and now it's cooled down a bit and we've had a bit of rain, so yeah, so I'll take you around and what's going on. Starting off, I mean, I've started off aiming at these beauties. Look at my sprouts. So first time I've grown sprouts for quite a long time, well, a long time actually, and aren't they amazingly beautiful plants? I mean, look at that. They're absolutely, I've got my cage of my wall of protection against pesky pigeons and things, but even so, you can see, aren't they absolutely beautiful plants? And they're doing very well, very well. If I zoom in through the netting, you can probably see the sprouts, yep, starting to form. So those are magnificent. And one magnificent thing is the fact that I put this cage up with netting to protect them, and it's still standing, which for me is a major triumph. So, and then you can see here I've got some cavolo nero, some black kale, black cabbage from or cavolo is cabbage, so black cabbage from Italy. Well, not from Italy, but cavolo is the Italian for cabbage. Oh my, I'll get my words out in the end. And this is looking really good. So this is growing this. Well, one of the uses of this is a beautiful Tuscan bean soup called ribollita. Ribollita means reboiled, and you basically, it's one of those recipes from olden times when people just put everything left at the end of a meal, sort of stale bread, beans, bits of cabbage, other veg into a pot and made soups. And ribollita means reboiled, and so this was something that apparently in Tuscany, people did each day. They'd add a bit more bits of meat and everything, and the flavors would, some herbs flavors would sort of develop day by day. And we had it in Italy a few years ago, and cavolo nero was a big part of it, because it can be a little bit tough to start off with, but when it's reboiled in the soup, it's delicious. So yeah, and we'll use it for other things as well. I mean, it's a lovely plant. It's a beautiful plant. You can have it just to sort of grow. You could have it in your garden just to sort of in amongst anything else, flowers and stuff, because the leaves and the shape and the colour and the whole shape of the plant is beautiful. So yeah, so that's doing well as well. 2 out of 2 so far. And here is the purple sprouting broccoli. So this is pushing at the top of my cage, so that's well over a metre tall already. It's probably not going to go, well, I'm hoping it's not going to go too much taller. So the leaves are getting a little bit bent, but that should be okay, I think, because the purple sprouting broccoli, I sowed these in about April, and they'll be ready in probably next March time. So they're all looking healthy. I've got through the summer of keeping them well and healthy, and from now on really it gets a little bit easier because there's no watering required or anything. They'll just sort of slowly grow and then start to produce what we want to eat in the beginning of next year. So that's my brassica cage, tunnel of joy, whatever you might call it, and it's looking really well. Yeah, really well. So I'm happy with that. On to other things. So that was my rhubarb. It's now completely finished, and it's disappearing, having a rest until next year. I've got over here, so this is the comfrey, which you may have seen earlier was full of flowers. That's now sort of dropping back. I have got I won't open it to show it, but in there is the bubbling mass of frothy comfrey juice that stinks to high heaven, that I'm still using to water my gourds and pumpkins. And then this is the bed that I put in for pollinators. So look at the sunflowers. I mean, they just give you joy, don't they? You can just look. There's a little I think it's a hoverfly on there, enjoying life. There's a bee, I think, on there. I mean, even though it's a cloudy day and there's not so much about at the moment, they're just beautiful, and they everything keeps on feeding from them. I'll go along here actually because it's nice. I've got all sorts of things. So we've got Phacelia down there, we've got the Endoborage Californian lilac. I'm over here, I'll show you a bit more. I mean, just look at that, all of that for nothing, seeded from last year, last year's flowers, just sort of red arash here, and then marigolds and things like that. And it's just, isn't that lovely? It's so simple, but it's just keeps on flowering non-stop. Absolutely lovely. And then over here, this is one of my, I'm very excited. I mean, again, a statuesque looking plant, absolutely beautiful. This is an echium, so I'll show you some more echiums in a minute. So there's a native wildflower in England, Echium vulgaris, which is Viper's bugloss, which I'll show you in a minute because I've got that somewhere else. But well, in fact, no, I've got one stray one that seeded itself. Let me show you. I'm going to whistle over here so you can see. So this is the native wildflower, Viper's bugloss, Echium vulgare, and it's biennial, so it's seeded now, and then it will send up a big spike of blue flowers next year, which the bees will love. So that's that one. But then this one is Echium, I think it's Pininana. There might be another in or another arn in the middle of it, but something like Pininana. And I sowed these in the spring. I've got a couple more at home. Look at it, it's beautiful. So this will send out, hopefully, I think it originates from the Canary Islands, and it'll send out a spike which could be, I don't know, 2 meters tall, massive next year, which again the bees will absolutely love. So I'm very excited and very pleased that this is doing so well. It's a lovely plant. It looks really healthy. It's got a nice sunny position, so that's something already to look forward to for next year. There's already so much to look forward to for next year, but that's definitely something. So that's this bed. So over here, so we've got a lot of soil at the moment, which will be covered soon. So this is where the broad beans were. Then we had the potatoes, the main crop potatoes. I had to dig those all up early because I had blight on the leaves, so I chopped the foliage off and then dug them up, because if you chop the foliage off quickly, it means that you don't get the blight getting into the soil and ruining the actual potatoes under the ground. So they all look good. They're all harvested and in the shed now, and they were not a bad crop actually. It was quite a good crop. So see marigolds here as well, growing everywhere. And then here's the first of my gourds or pumpkins. I always get them. I always call them both the same thing, really. Pumpkins are gourds, or are they not? I don't know. But anyway, so these are the plants. So they're starting to sort of fade a little bit as we get into autumn. So these were planted too late because it was quite cool and I didn't get going. Last year I planted them early, and then it was so hot and sunny that everything was ready in July. So I thought, oh no, I'll hold on a bit this time. Left it till probably, sowed them in May, ready to plant out in June, and then it was cold and horrible for ages, so they didn't get going. So it's the opposite of last year. So they've waited. When you first put them in, you get lots of male flowers, which, as I've mentioned before, in a lot of male things in the world can be a bit of a pain at times. But so they've now finished, and we've got, well, they're still going, but we've got some female flowers coming. So I have got some now, finally, some goods, but that's how big they are on this plant at the moment. So I'm well, I will see. The biggest one might be these. These are the biggest ones. Not exactly. There's my finger, so it's not huge. But I'll keep on looking after them, and maybe if the weather stays mild, it's just the light levels are reducing now as well. So we'll see. But I mean, lovely plants, but they're definitely gone a bit noticeably more autumnal in the past few days. So over here we've got the end of the rainbow chard. It looks like a write-off thing, but yeah. So but we're still harvesting that, still eating that. A lot of the plants have gone to seed, but that's okay. You can still get the leaves off them and everything. This was rocket. It's gone past it. It's also going to seed. So you've got the little flowers, which are very pretty, and then the seeds. So the seed pods. You see these little seed pods here, like that, and they're actually really tasty, peppery, rockety. I mean, a lot of the radishy, rockety type family, the seed heads are actually really nice. Seed pods are really nice to eat. Actually, there used to be a radish I grew a few years ago called rat's tail radish, where you didn't actually eat the bulb underground. You just ate the big long pod, which of course looked like a rat's tail, surprisingly enough. So yeah, but they're nice actually. I mean, nice in a salad, rockety, but not too rockety. So yeah. Then I got some celery. I've got some carrots still in there. And then here I've got a verbascum, a mullein, which is oh, here comes the train. Now these days, when I first started doing these videos last April, Um, I paused it for a second. The trains were going past empty. Now, of course, they're going back and they're almost back to normal. But so this is a verbascum. So these normally flower in the spring. Somehow something's gone a bit strange, and you can see. I mean, it's again absolutely stunning plant. And look, it's about to send up its flower spike. So if that happens, then hopefully that'll give some late food for bees and pollinators. We'll just have to wait and see. But it's definitely ready. I don't know anything. I'm not sure it'll know not to get all excited and flower this year. So we'll see. And then this bit here, which I mean, it does look. I mean, doesn't it look absolutely beautiful and welcoming? When you really want to just dive in there, don't you want to stick your hands in and just dive in? So this is so I didn't grow any garlic or alliums this year because I've had terrible trouble with white rot, where basically the plants grow for 75% of their growing period, and then right at the end there's a fungus that lurks in the ground, and as soon as it gets in touch with the alliums, it starts to attack it, and then after most of the growth, it will suddenly cause the whole thing to rot within a matter of days, basically. And the pesky fungus stays around for 15 years. So you can't, you have to wait 15 years before you can put any alliums back in that soil. So my plan this year is, because I like growing garlic, is I've got an area like this. It's quite big, and I've put a layer of cardboard underneath on top of the soil to stop the contact with the soil, and then I've put some sort of mulching stuff that the council provides for free when they've shredded all the local waste. So I've got some mulching stuff underneath, which is, I'll show you what it's like. It's this sort of stuff. So it's quite sort of heavy but quite light. It's quite sort of, for strange reason, it's got like a woolly texture this time. So that's underneath this, and then I've put a layer of peat-free compost on the top, and a little sort of like a little bit of manure, shredded manure on top of that. So this is where I'm going to try and grow the garlic this year. I'm going to put them in quite soon, so they normally go in October, maybe November. I've already ordered my seed from the Isle of Wight garlic farm, so they'll be coming, and I'm going to put some in here, I'm going to put some in the greenhouse, I'm going to put some in containers, and I'll see which gives the best results. So that is a proper scientific experiment, I reckon. Well, it's as good as it will get with me. So yeah, so I'm gonna, that's that. So then over here we've got some more pesky verbascums. Now these ones though, this is what should be happening. So these ones are big, solid, lovely plants that have seeded, and they are ready for next year. So I will move them onto my pollinators bank when it's really wet and in the winter, when they're not doing very much. I mean, lovely plants, but this is what should be happening, because they haven't got any flower spikes. You see, it's just all leaf. So these are and they're beautiful. So this will be lovely for the Malayan moth caterpillars next year. Runner beans. Oh, I'm a bit close to them. There's my runner beans. So they're getting. You can see the house next door. They're getting a bit autumnal, to be honest, and I've let them go a bit too far. They've got a bit too, because I've got a freezer full of them, so I'm limited really to what we can actually eat now. But lovely. I mean, I only had 6 plants, and that was more than enough for us. More than enough. But lovely. And then down here, I've got another gaudy pumpkin-y thing, which again has just started producing. So it's got, I think I've got 1 fruit on this one. Same problem as before, too late. But that one's a bit bigger and looks nice. But yeah, we shall see. Yeah, might not be time for that as well. And then a big step over to the autumn raspberries. So this is the autumn. I'm going to step back to show you them in their perfect joy. Look at them. Those are really, so these are autumn raspberries. So these are the varieties that start, they normally start fruiting in July. This year it was August, but look, they just keep on fruiting at this time of year, and they are really good. They're really delicious. They're lovely. They start to get, as the season goes on, they start to get a little bit smaller. They get a bit smaller, but they're lovely. They love the cool, damp conditions, and they'll keep fruiting for quite some time. The more you pick them, the more they'll keep fruiting, because you can see, you know, there's still lots of them to come, but there's lots ready at the moment. So I'm picking those every day at the moment, and they're delicious, absolutely delicious. And then over here is the pond. So I've just seen a pair of dragonflies dancing over the water. They were ovipositing, where they fly around and they sort of, the female keeps dipping her whatever it is into the water while the male clings on, and they dance around the pond. So that's just been happening, which was lovely. And then what I've got here behind, I think there's a word, hibernaculum. That's sort of what I've tried to do. So by the pond, I've got lots of logs under there from when we cut down the plum trees that had got too big a few years ago. And then I've got on top all the nettles and all the sort of waste plants. I've put them on the top to create a little roof, and that is a place for all sorts of creatures, small mammals, reptiles, anything to hibernate and be protected over the winter. So that's I never ever disturb it. I just put things on top of it. So that's hopefully full. I mean, in this hedge that goes along here, there's often a fox sleeping here. I've disturbed it a few times. So there's definitely wild action going on. And in fact, our allotment association, a lady has just started a group for lots of people to get together to talk about how we can increase the biodiversity in the allotment sites in Amersham, which is really, really lovely. So we're going to be having our first get together, I think this week. So that's a lovely thing to be involved in as well. And then over here we've got the bank. So this sort of goes all the way along. It was all nettles. Now I've cut it down to this bit being nettles there, and then the rest of it. But the idea was it was all plants for pollinators and caterpillars, and I think it's been a success. I put a layer of cardboard down with compost above, and it's basically kept all that under control. I just planted the seeds onto the top, and off we go. So there's a native hedgerow at the back, which has had a good year. It's enjoyed the rain. And then here's more of the Viper's bugloss, which I talked about earlier. There's some big Viper's bugloss there. Got some massive teasels as well, which all wildlife likes. And then here I've got herbs. I've got the Mexican fleabane, which is the lovely daisy one there. I've got marjoram there. I've got lavender, and I've got also, this is a wildflower mix over there. There's all sorts of stuff. So, and then here I've got a big load of brambles and ivy. So there's ivy at the end, which I'll show you. Well, I might be able to zoom in. If you can see, it's starting to flower. Loads of ivy flowers. So again, great source of food for bees late in the season, and for birds in the winter. And then this is the brambles that's just great for anything really. So yes, all this is a sort of wildlife corridor, I hope, alongside my allotment. Anyway, back to the food, because there is some of that too. So here I tried to grow some corn in amongst things here, and the corn is a bit like the pumpkins this year. It's not really been warm enough for them. So I've got some lovely sweet corn here, but it's smaller than you'd expect. And in case you don't know, oh, that's quite strange. I just noticed something. In case you don't know, so you grow the sweet corn in blocks because they're wind pollinated. So you grow them close together like that, and then the top bits drop into. I'm starting a horticulture course this week, and I'll be able to give you the proper scientific terms then. But the top bits pollinate the bottom bits, and then you get the cobs of corn. But bizarrely, I've just noticed we've got this bit up here, which has got sort of like, it's almost like a funny cob of corn in the wrong place. So and at the top, I've never seen that before. That's really quite strange. But yeah, because all the others look like that. That one has got a bit, well, obviously not sure what's going on. So but amongst this corn, really importantly for the winter, I've got lots of perpetual spinach. So I sowed those all around here, and you may remember I sowed the first sowing, then came back a week later, thought what were all these weeds doing, and hoed them all down, then realised it was the perpetual spinach I'd sowed. But anyway, this time I got it right, and there's lots there, so that'll keep growing all over the winter, which is lovely. I've got some chives here, and the exciting thing about the chives is I grew them from seed. I always just love it when I grow things from seed. And normally, you buy a pot of chives and it's already bulbed up and everything, but these are from seed, and they've been growing happily. They haven't flowered this year, which is probably one of the benefits of growing them by seed. They don't do the flowering, so you keep on having a source of chives, but they're lovely. And then next to them we've got some more beans. These are the French beans, again coming towards the end, I think, but this one's have got quite a lot more. So I've been the dish of the summer for the beans is pesto alla genovese, which is the basil pesto with beans in amongst it with fresh pasta, and it's absolutely delicious. And that's the way apparently it's eaten in parts of Italy, and it's a really good. When we first had it, we weren't sure that we thought beans and pesto, but it's really good. So I do recommend it for sure. There's a plane. Oh, flipping it! Bring back the lockdown and get rid of the daft planes that just make so much noise. It's, oh, they go in room 101 with me with mopeds and them. They make enough noise basically for a rocket to get to Jupiter, and they just trundle across the sky, fouling the air with noise pollution. There we go. That's my argument for room 101. So anyway, so here we've got courgettes, which so we've got two plants. This one's never looked that strong, but was produced quite a lot, and the one over there is magnificent. Look at those leaves. That's beautiful. That's always looked really healthy. I mean, it started over there, and it sort of moves along the ground, really, and now it's sort of mingled up with the gourds. But we've had loads of those, and they're bright yellow courgettes, so you can't miss them. So yeah, as demonstrated there, beautiful. And then we've got over here, we've got some more gourds and pumpkins, and these ones I've got a bit more hope for, because look, same thing about they were a bit late, but these are a bit of a, you know, that's now getting a bit bigger. That's a bit bigger there. And then over here, I mean, they're still away behind probably where they should be, but there's hope on these. So I'll keep a look. I mean, they're almost getting to a decent size, so we'll see on those. But fingers crossed. Here's another mullein. This one of a bascum. This one again, we're sending a flower spike, but some creature. We get muntjac deer romping around the allotments, and it looks like a deer's run into it, or the fox or something. So it's suddenly gone at a bit of a funny angle. That's not what's supposed to happen, and I won't even tell you what it reminds me of. But here's another one. So this one here, this one. Yeah, I don't know if this one is undecided whether to flower or not, so hopefully it won't do. But we've got all stages of the bascums really, which is all a bit strange in September. And then finally out here is the parsley, which gives me joy. Look at that, flat leaf parsley, and it's doing really well. It's really happy, lovely. I might try and, because I guess that will slow down as it gets colder, so I might try and put some of that in the greenhouse to try and prolong the sort of green wealth. But it's not flowered or anything. It's kept on being lovely all the time, in amongst more rocket. Because this rocket, by the way, I talked about the seed pods, but it does also seed itself all over the allotment. So I've now got a never-ending supply of rocket, which is lovely. But also does tend to take over a bit, and then here's my strawberries. So these are the strawberries. So they fruited a bit this year, and then some pesky critter kept nicking all the strawberries, so I only ate about 2. Next year I will have my revenge while building some sort of castle around the strawberries. But for now they keep sending out runners, so you can probably see over there's a pile of stuff. So they send out runners to create new plants, but I want them to just concentrate on being bigger plants themselves. So they're doing quite well. So I've cut all the runners off this year, and then hopefully next year we'll get a bountiful supply of strawberries that critters won't get to first. And then we come round to the greenhouse bit. So, well, and strangely as well, I've got purple loosestrife, a wildflower growing there. I don't remember ever planting it. It's lovely. Normally you find it by ponds. It likes damp soil. It hasn't got damp soil at all here, but it's beautiful, and it seems really happy. So who am I to tell it it's in the wrong place? And then into the greenhouse finally. Here it is. It's a little bit overgrown this year, so I had all the strawberries. What am I talking about? All the tomatoes. I suppose they're small and red. All the tomatoes got blight, so I had to take them out and instead I put in this cucumber plant, which I've mentioned before has just been incredible. So it's starting to slow down now, you can see, but we've had so many cucumbers, and really good cucumbers. They're eating tzatziki every day. I mean, look, can you see those? They're here. They're slowing down and getting, but I mean, even now there's some nice. Oh, wait a minute. There's some nice cucumbers in here all over, and it's taken over the whole of this side of the greenhouse. So it's been a raging success. I've got loads of basil. That's been brilliant this year. So I've got absolutely loads of it. Hence all the pesto. I'm going to make another dish tonight. But really healthy, big, strong, incredibly fragrant basil. Yeah, I think if you can grow it in the soil rather than buying it from supermarkets, if you grow it in your own soil, and the fragrance is amazing. I mean, if you could smell what I can smell now. It's lovely. And then also I've got some dill, because I've got a few recipes I like that involve dill, and it was really difficult to find it, so I bought some plants and grown it. So they're now flowering, which is a very pretty, delicate flower, very pretty. So I'll maybe be able to collect some seeds from that to grow next year. I mean, it's a lovely plant. And then the chilies. So I've got all sorts of these. I'll tell you the names because I can look. There we go. This one is Basket of Fire. This one, in my best ominous voice, is Apache. That's not quite as frightening, really. This one over here, I've got. Oh, wait a minute. This is a big. Look at this. Here's a big one. This one's got green one. What this one is, with the. There we go. That one is Thai Dragon. It's not very. Yeah, I think. Yeah. Anyway. Oh, wait a minute. There's another one. Wait a minute. Oh, I can't find the label of that one. Oh no, here we go. There's one in here. Oh, this one. Wait a minute. Oh, wait. This one here. Can you see? There, down here. Those ones. Oh, that's Cheyenne, not Cayenne. Cheyenne. Okay, Cheyenne. So that didn't really deserve such an ominous voice. Look, more cucumbers. And then over here we've got, what else have we got? We've got another one. This one. So this one's a lovely one with these funny shapes. Those are chilies there. This one is Scotch bonnet. I should have known that one. Scotch bonnet. So I've got loads of those. And the final one. These are really big ones. Look at those beauties. They're really nice. Have they got a label? I hope they've got a label with a terrifying name on. Oh well, I don't know. Chili Freddy Krueger might be the name. I don't think it was. I'd be surprised if it was. Anyway, so that's the allotment. So look, it's looking a little bit. It's looking autumnal, but in a really lovely way. It's still producing lots of stuff. So tonight I'm going to cook. It's a fresh pasta, a sort of lasagna with fresh pesto, tuna, and then we'll have. So it's a sort of lasagna with tuna-y, pesto-y, stuffy, and then tomorrow probably be a risotto with lots of beans and courgettes and chard, and lots of cheesy butteriness in there as well. So lots of lovely things to be able to cook, and also I've ordered my garlic seeds. I've bought some broad bean seeds, so they'll all be planted in the next 6 to 8 weeks as well, ready for next year. So lots of reasons to look forward and lots of reasons to enjoy the autumn fruitfulness. All right then, hope you've enjoyed having a wander around, and well, I'll do another one soon maybe. All right then, bye.